Hello everyone. My name is Eeva-Maria Villakainen. I work as a GIS manager at Finavia, responsible for organizational level GIS data management, processes and architecture. It's really nice to be here. Thank you for invitation. And theater is quite cool place to be because work at the airport is sometimes or really often like from the action movie. I'm honored to be here with our dear GIS consultant, Pekka.
Hello, my name is Pekka Sarkola, coming from GISPO at ADG.
Yeah, together we will tell you something about how to manage airport data by using QGIS. Finavia is an airport operator, enabling smooth travel experience both for passengers and airlines. Airports are open 24/7, all year round, and almost in any weather conditions. So we are there to make everything happen and be in good condition. Finavia has 20 airports, smaller and bigger ones. And my home office, Helsinki Airport, is the biggest one in Finland. From IT and data management point of view, everything is centralized in Helsinki Airport. So all the other airports do the operational things, but we do the centralized data management. Why geographical information is then important at airports? If you look at the terminal building, the little dot or line in the middle of the picture, the size of the terminal is around 100 football fields. So then everybody can calculate what is the size of the whole airport area, including the airfields, land side areas. We have to know where is what. And in order to move people, goods, to monitor different kind of things, water supply, in order to be emergency awareness for the whole airport area, to maintain different kind of assets, infrastructure, buildings, or manage, for example, land property operations. And of course, this environment is strongly regulated, both in national and international level. So it gives some extra work for how we do our job. Around 5-6 years ago, we did a GIS strategy on toward GIS data management, from CAD-based house to GIS. And first we did the research for user needs and compared different kind of technical solutions, and we ended up for open source platform. So we have set it up, and now we are using it, and finally we are heading towards the next level of moving to lifecycle management of GIS data. And it's a big challenge because we are changing the way people are working. So it's not done easily or quickly. It takes some time. But luckily, we have regulations and they forced us to do that. So thanks for that. And lifecycle management is something that we are not doing yet, but the idea is that we model the GIS data from the planning phase already, and then as build, deliver, validation, maintenance, and then to operational use. So it requires the entire platform and entire processes to work seamlessly together. Here is a really simplified architecture drawing of our environment, only showing the open source solutions. So we have a PostGIS as a database platform, QGIS as a desktop solution, and Geoserver as map interface server. I could add many other components to this architecture drawing, from ETL tools to different kind of web portals, metadata catalog, but it's another story then. Then here are some examples of our operational applications. First, our really open, fresh, one-day-old passenger map launched yesterday, enabling navigation now from the security control to different gates, for example. And that's mainly only thing passengers want to know, where to go, where are the services. But behind everything else is the support functions that I'm working with. Everything, like all the infrastructure behind that, all the facility management, access management. But this is available or both on web and mobile, and then also in the terminal in the service info screens. Then for internal use, we have this kind of like map view, web view portal, where we combine 2D and 3D models. This is for maintenance purposes, for different kind of departments to see what data we have, how you can combine different theme maps, or use or search, for example, different buildings where you have to go. And data is delivered by using APIs to that application. And then our latest application, QField, that is now in production for 2 airports, one in Lapland and one in Helsinki airport, and mainly used for to inventory runway pavement damages. But there are already some requests of using it as a planning tool for summertime, because there's a lot of different people doing tasks. So they could draw it, okay, now there is your job to do, and then you can check while doing it. So we are searching for also different kind of user needs for QField as well. And one, I think, really familiar picture for you from QGIS editing environment. This is our facility management data from passengers' point of view, and really like a simplified picture, but all data we are maintained by using QGIS at the moment. Yeah, that was all, and now it's Pekka's turn.
Okay. So it has been pleasure work with Finavia about 6 years, building different kind of solutions for the manage the GIS data. So ISPO is founded in 2012, 25 employees, offices in Sweden and Finland. And we are like a whole service GIS consulting house where we can train, educate, and develop the software and so on. So I will talk more about aeronautical data, and Eva-Maria talk about the land side area where the passengers goes, and I'm going to talk about more like air side, which is where aircraft and other items are moving. So this is one of the picture from the regulation of the MDB, if you know what to know, aerodrome features. So you have runways and hotspots and taxiways and aprons and de-icing areas, and all this kind of information should be managed in the future as a GIS data. Quite often in airports, they have a CAD drawings about that, but it's not the GIS data, so there's some challenges. About aviation for GIS nerds, safety and security first. That's the first idea. And then everything is regulated. Everything, I mean everything. All those regulations. If you're familiar about INSPIRE regulation, you haven't seen anything yet, and so on. And it's very conservative, like the industry, the whole aviation. XML is the newest thing what they have invented, so think about that. I think quite many developers haven't born when first XML has published. Regulations for airports, very briefly, if you talk about with the airport or aviation people, we talk about aeronautical data quality, ADQ, which was being implemented first in 2010. And there's a new regulation coming after that, 139 and 2017. And also there's references to ICAO, which is a UN-based aviation regulatory advisory board and other regulations. And now we are implementing a project with the AIMDB, which is Airport Mapping Database, which started to be first GIS database. So the difficulties for the airport operator is also that everything have to be documented, like processes, how we collect the data, how we store the data, how we validate and verify the data, and then how we deliver the data to the other users. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of XML stuff. AXML is quite a headache. Version of 5.1.1 is now the current version, and 5.2 is coming in near future, and it's still quite difficult to understand and implement in the current situation or actual production systems. This is simplified, as usually said, that aeronautical data flows. So every airport is collecting the data from the field. Data collection have to be served. So somebody have to be in the field making surveying. So you can't use any kind of imagery or something like that. Then we are modeling the data to database. Then we can create airport charts. If you are familiar about those, you can download it from the web if you want to see. Then we have AXM. We deliver the data to Aeronautical Information Service, which is like a countrywide organization to create aeronautical products for the stakeholders or end users. And in Finland they have one, and Sweden they have one, and every country has one AIS who is collecting the information from various airports and so on. And then they deliver the data to the Eurocontrol, and Eurocontrol is building this kind of European level aeronautical data. And they take care about conflicts between countries. Okay, airport don't have any kind of conflict between other airports, but think about airspaces between various countries. They might have some kind of challenges to handle the unique identifiers or coordinate precision or something like that. So aeronautical database, what we have implemented, it's PostgreSQL with PostGIS, nothing fancy thing there. We are using PG audit to collect all the changes and store all the modifications to external data storage to be sure that if something happens, we have exact information what was the database situation in current timestamp. We use PG modeler for the database modeling, but because the regulations are quite interesting, I will say, we have made our own Finavia version of this kind of aeronautical database model. For metadata, it's quite often in the field of GIS that we talk about the layer level metadata. But in an aeronautical area, you have to collect all the metadata about the attribute level. So we have to have attribute level metadata about geometry, all the attribute fields, who have to collect the information, when and how, and so on. So we have to collect that metadata information. I think the metadata is much bigger than the rest of the database. We have also metadata about data validation. So if there's somebody who collects the information, is the data originator, we have to store that information. Then somebody else, some other person will make the verification that this is a right place what we collected, and the other person is making the validation that this is aeronautical data, that we have all the metadata. And finally, when all the processes has come, we can deliver the data to the next level. So there's a lot of different steps to do it. So the database, it's not big. I mean, people usually ask that how big is the data, that how many gigabytes or petabytes have, and I think we have less than 100,000 rows in the database. So it's not big, but we have to be very careful about the integrity of the data in all the times. QGIS editing environment, nothing very different than what you have seen. We have different kind of project for different layers, and then we have, of course, development, testing, and production versions, and you can see that this is from the test environment. And then we have a lot of different kind of forms created, and you can see it from the tabs. We have data, surface, and then feature lifetime, annotation, metadata, lifecycle, and this origination, verification, validation, and deliver tabs there. And that information is managed and stored in with QGIS in the PostGIS database. Next to you.
Okay. Yeah, some conclusions and, well, the challenges we have faced and future plans. As Pekka mentions, we have this aerial mapping database ongoing project, AMDB, huge project, but I think the technical part is the easiest part, but it's all about cooperation with people. The work needs to be consistent, but really sensitive, and we have to participate people at the early stage so they have enough time to adapt to new way of working. Of course, we have certain timeline, and from regulation point of view, they would like to that we have a perfect solution in order to fulfill all the requirements, but we do our best in this project. I think the deadline for AMDB is the end of this year, and we have just started, so you can imagine. Because it takes time to adjust to new methods, we have reserved next year only for training and deployment. We have 20 airports that needs to work consistently, like doing the new AMDB data, even though it's centralized to Helsinki Airport, we need to change information from the airfields. If they change security border, if they change some kind of other infrastructure there, they need to send us information from that. And currently we don't have good process for that. So that's also one part of the project to change management specification. And currently we are at the stage that I think we need to do some kind of data vision for future, where we want to be in 3-5 years. Hopefully we have a digital twin of the airport that is widely used. We can provide standardized data sets for all kind of our user needs. And I'm working at IT department at Helsinki Airport, and sometimes it's really lonely. Somebody understand, but usually they don't. So it would be nice to see that GIS things are part of the ID development at organizational level. And I think this is also like one idea for this open source community as well. I've seen a really interesting presentation here, and you're doing a great job from the bottom up, providing a great tool set and plugins for developers and users. But in the future, could it be seen also other way around, top down, like how QGIS platform should work in enterprise level? What functions are needed? What tools could help users and maintainers? And as said, change is only permanent thing in the world. We have a complex environment to deal with. We have to be aware of new technologies, data sets, new regulations as well. And thanks to our critical geographical location at these times of the world, it gives also extra spice to our work. So military aspects, everything needs to be taken into account when creating databases, for example, or how we manage the data. But good point, there's no boring days at work. So on my behalf, thank you so much.